Right, hello students.
Hello friends.
We are back with another video, and this video is on the analysis of CLAT 2025 sample paper 2. Sir, but there's a big doubt, or say I should be saying a confusion which has been created. The only tool which is there, which is provided by the consortium to clarify or to bring more clarity regarding paper is the sample paper.
Yes.
But as the sample papers are being rolled out, we got the first sample paper and now this is the second sample paper. It looks like more and more confusion is being created. Is it a confusion created by consortium or students are getting confused? That was the first aspect that we discussed earlier, right?
That I also have. So let us clarify all these doubts and make it clear for the students.
Right. So sample paper 2 has been released. Again, students are fully confused. In GK we saw, sir, that there are questions but no passages. So students are of the view that now there will not be passages but only questions. Right? Such type of inference, if you draw from paper, could be very dangerous. This is one aspect of discussion that we are going to have. Apart from that, comprehension based questions are given, right? We are going to analyze that. There are very easy questions. If you go to the third passage of sample paper 2, very easy question. Right? Questions which cannot be put even in 7th, 8th class English paper. That kind of questions have been given. But again, if you read the first passage and the second passage, although the questions are very easy again, right? But the theme used, or say, if I talk about how familiar a student would be regarding these passages, a level of doubt arises in students' mind. Now, a passage like this, sir, right, where they're talking about multi-racial Commonwealth, right? Now, people are not aware of what is this Commonwealth, the idea of Commonwealth and all these things, right? Now, for them to approach these kind of questions, it's become difficult. And only a few days back, we did a wonderful analysis of how to approach unfamiliar passages, things which you are not comfortable with, those kind of topics. How do you approach? On that, we already made a video, right? We also talked about a technique called MMT. The technique is also pinned in the comment box. You can reach out to that method, right? Message and technique, right? How the author is trying to bring out his argument. All these things are important to figure out question like this. If you come to passage like this, if you see the first portion, the first half looks little confusing. If I talk overall difficulty of the sample paper, this is a small portion which can be called moderate to difficult. Apart from that, if you come to the second portion where they are taking example of US and Russia, and then giving a kind of caselet, sir. They're saying that the so-called Commonwealth idea that the people are having, today Russia and USA, they portray that they both are flag bearers of human rights. They are both countering terrorism, but individually they are themselves perpetrators of a lot of wrongs that's happening in their countries and the countries on which they exhibit domination. So all these idea-based passages where you're not familiar with these principal ideas given in the passage, these caselet, these examples, give kind of a push to understand those passages. So if you read in toto, the comprehension part was very easy, right? For students who have been writing Abhyaas mocks, it would have been very easy for them to attempt all these questions.
I have a doubt.
Right, sir.
So what do you think would be the source of this particular passage? Like
right
from
now,
what source was this passage speaking?
Right now, this is also something which has been created by students, that usually we see a passage much larger than this and we see questions much more in terms of number.
4 or 5 questions, right?
4 or 5 questions. But we see 2 questions and a small passage. So the first doubt that arose in our mind was,
this pattern is going to get continued in the CLAT exam also?
That's the main question that we have to analyze. Now, straight away we cannot say anything. If I say today that this pattern will not come, then even that would be wrong. If I say that this pattern would come, even that would be wrong. Now, but there is one hint, sir. One hint is there. When we analyze this paper, right, we tried to find whether this was created by consortium or whether it was copy pasted by consortium. And when we analyze this, sir, can you tell what happened? Where did we reach? Which paper did we reach of UPSC?
Yeah.
The paper number 2. Right, the CSAT paper.
Up from CSAT.
Right, so if you search for these passages, copy paste, search in Google, you will be taken to UPSC CSAT. There is a paper number 2 called CSAT. Go to CSAT paper and see the comprehension asked in CSAT paper. There usually a small paragraph followed by 2 questions only. Not more than 2 questions. Same kind of pattern is being followed in the sample paper. Moreover, certain of the questions are copy paste of the questions which are pasted in certain of the UPSC websites, right? The coaching institutes of UPSC. Now, I won't take the name of those. You can copy paste it, go to ChatGPT, paste there and ask ChatGPT to find the source of the passage. You will be taken to a place where you will be understanding that these are not originally created by consortium. A big takeaway. Right, sir? And also same with regards to current affairs. Now, if I draw the same inference to current affairs, students cannot go with the idea that the question paper will be in that format.
Yes, exactly.
The only learning is try to understand the type of questions. Now, if you come to the first paragraph, right? The main central idea, all these things, the central idea of the passage, right? Significance wale passages. Now, all these things. And moreover, the connecting words, we have been emphasizing a lot. I will recommend you to go watch this 1 hour podcast we did, right? How to approach passages. If you're clear with approaching passages, it's not a very difficult task. People get too much technical, sir. Strengthening, weakening, 1, 2, 3 point is there only, then it's strengthening, weakening. It's more like a skill-based thing. This is something that we have done in a recent podcast, the link of which we will give in description. Go check that. We have given a free 30 pages booklet, a wonderful booklet compiling all that you have to know in order to approach reading comprehension and critical reasoning. The link of that also, the PDF free of cost is given in the link. Go read that. That's more than enough. It's more like a skill based thing than a knowledge or technically approaching based thing.
So how to approach this kind of passages? Like, if we get the same kind of passage in the final CLAT exam,
right,
then how do students approach this? What kind of...
So there are two things. One, if you're familiar with the ideas, right, the central ideas, for example, the first passage or the second passage, the central idea, if you see,
the context you are talking
about. The context. The context, if you're familiar with context, it will be easier for you to understand. For example,
so how to develop understanding regarding those contexts?
So one is to read multiple. One is to read multiple types of passages. If you're reading philosophy, you should be also able to read a sports magazine comprehensively.
I guess we are providing those.
We are providing everything at Abhyaas. All you have to do is make sure that whatever is made available to you in terms of content, you absorb it. That becomes more important than anything else. Sir, we will also go to your portion because students are awaiting. Current affairs has become a stunner.
Huge challenge.
Right. Now, a lot of people, one thing is that at Abhyaas, we were discussing that you have made a special presentation showing that how at Abhyaas, the content provided at Abhyaas, whether that be the classroom deliveries, the worksheet.
With the questions that you are asked in sample paper or not, we'll have a discussion on that also. We'll make it clear and clarified for students so that they can feel it much more convenient and easy for the final exam.
Right. So, sir, my two takeaway for reading comprehension portion so that you can get into your portion. My two takeaways: one, don't take a strict learning from this. Don't think that the passages will be of this kind or the questions will be of this kind, because as I have told you, the questions are copy paste of certain CSAT type of questions. Right. So, lay more emphasis on types of question than on the passage or the number of questions and all those things. Right? So don't get stuck with this. Solve more like CSAT paper. Go to CSAT papers of last year's UPSC ka preliminary round mein second paper is CSAT paper, which is a
Civil Services Aptitude Test, CSAT.
CSAT. Now go to that paper, you will find questions like this. Practice that, it will be better. But again, don't get into this notion that the actual paper will be in this format.
So do we have to attempt questions first, or do we have to look at the passage and then go for the questions?
Sir, again, the same thing. We have been doing this for a long time. We have posted a small podcast video also. The link is given in the description. Go check that. A wonderful video of how to approach. That 1 hour, if you are listening properly, if you're making sufficient learning from that, I would say that that's more than enough.
Considering that time constraints plays a
everything, sir. Everything has been discussed in that.
So it should be easy for students to approach these passages like this. Which
in terms of time, yes. In terms of time, yes. Because if you see, even the questions are not based on very difficult verticals of the same passage.
Theme of the passage.
Connected to each other. Connected to each other. If you go wrong with one, you may go wrong with all other. That kind of approach is there. Now, anyhow, that's my first takeaway, that don't stick to the format, rather see the types of question. If you are seeing last sample paper 1, we saw a question where assumption and suggestions are asked in the same type of question. Right? Now, try to practice those type of questions. That's something you can do. So question type is important than the format type. Format is just there to bluff, a kind of thing that they have made. Format se stick mat hoiye. You go with the types of question only. Same for current affairs, right?
Exactly. A lot of students have been asking me
Right,
whether
sir.
the same pattern would be continued in the final exam also, or would there be changes in the final exam? Like,
Right.
do we going to expect any unexpected questions, out of the box questions?
Right, right.
So many students are facing such issues. So if you could just throw some light on that, then it.
Sir, as I've told you, don't stick to the format, stick to the types of question. Difficulty level you infer, even that's okay. But don't infer the format type. These many words of passage. A question will be of one-liner, options will be more, just like one-liner, we have seen options being much longer than this, questions being much longer than this. Such kind of expectation only, what happens, what the Buddha said, sir?
Yeah.
Desire is the root cause. If you desire these kind of questions and on that day you don't see questions like that, you're already,
Yes.
you get tensed and you
Out of the race.
lose focus, right? So that's my key takeaway from reading comprehension. So we'll go to GK portion, sir. I would want you to throw some light here. First, right, sir.